Hi. My mind's been bothering me this morning. I have one annoying person that keeps emailing me questions. Questions about the nature of the absolute. And it takes things I've said about the absolute over the last 10 years and compares and contrasts what I said 10 years ago with what I said 5 years ago, with what I said 6 months ago, etc. And he finds contradictions. And he repeats what I said. And he says, based on this, I can infer such and such, that the absolute has no limits. It has no boundaries. It's infinite. And I tell him his whole approach is conceptual. He's trying to drag that which is unspeakable back into existence, where labels such as limitless or infinite have meaning. He just can't shut the fuck up. He keeps talking in terms of trying to understand. And I should do this for the sake of my students, who, of course, are all searching for a description of the absolute so that they can be satisfied and come to rest, I guess. I can say things which to me are pretty clear about the relationship between the absolute and the human and mind and all of that. But it's not enough for him. He wants more and more detail. And other concepts to better describe the absolute experience. And I don't think it's the experience he's searching for, but how there's a lack of additional concepts that fit into his cognitive structure, which is based on concepts arising from existential existence, such as limits and limitless, which only apply to the existential. No concepts apply to the absolute. No attributes apply to the absolute. And in fact, the absolute is relatively useless. Or I should say it's absolutely useless. But he wants to make it useful so that he can describe it and write poetry about it, I guess. Or write a critique of pure absoluteness or witnessing. The guy is amazingly caught up in a very small knot of concepts that are interrelated around the concepts of infinity, boundaries, limits. And I can't shake him from this identity. So I keep telling him, I can't help you. You're caught in your mind. No matter how many times I say, drop your mind, he doesn't. And he asks the same sort of question over and over again in different ways, trying to satisfy his lust to know. He doesn't understand the concept of being as being good enough. He wants to understand the absolute, which is outside of experience. You can't experience the absolute because you're already in it. What you're experiencing is existence, revealed by the senses and the mind, but done from the point of view of the absolute. And that absolute subject cannot be touched by any descriptive concepts. In this area, you have to become dumb as a rock. And that's as close as you can get, this thoughtless state, to being in the absolute. The more you think about the absolute, the more you're wrapped up in the mind and the further away you are from the absolute. But why is he so caught up on what is the absolute? I don't understand what he's trying to achieve. Knowing something is really a very low state of mind. It's very embedded in the mundane. But to be still, without the mind constantly prodding you to do something, is to be able to descend into your own beingness, your own existence, and find enjoyment, find happiness, find bliss even. And here's the rub. Your concepts determine the depth and breadth of your spirituality. If you have concepts like Christianity or the other religions, you're limited to words that describe things that words should not try to describe. To use the word, for example, God has so many different meanings to so many different people. But if you can just shut up and love something or someone with all your might, all your existence, that's all you can conceive of. That pointedness, that focus on the other, also focuses you on your own self and your reaction to that other. And then love becomes the only thing you can really see. And you find it's in both of you. You who worships the other, and the other who is worshiped by you. And it's you that are linking these two together in love. And then there's only oneness. You are only love. And at the same time, you're having love for another. And the other, your beloved, in that moment is nothing more than your own love. The mind has its uses. It's great to understand cryptocurrency markets or the role of the Federal Reserve. Or learning how to use a gun or a bow and arrow to get food, or about chemicals and biology to grow large crops. But in most of us, the mind has taken over and it rules you. The same recurring thoughts or themes keep coming up every day. And usually revolve around me. What does he or she think of me? Does he or she really love me? If somebody loved me, how would they behave? Or in these days of the pandemic, how to get my food, delivery, pickup, shopping. How do I get a haircut? Go to a barber shop, exposing yourself to COVID, potentially, or chopping your own hair off with a razor. I did mine with one of those electric razors that have a 1-inch shield so that my hair is 1 inch long all the way around my head. Karima says it really looked good. I look at my hair afterwards and I said, oh, I've definitely seen better. But it's infinitely better than the hair I had growing down to my neck from 18 months of no haircuts. Yeah, and 3 or 4 days ago, I had my first cataract surgery, my left eye. It's now 2020. The right eye is still about 2,900. So I see you all as both very sharp and blurred at the same time. It's especially true on Mark for some reason. So I don't know whether it's what's really taking place with Mark, that he's both sharp and blurred, or whether it's to be laid on the quality of my senses. But you see, I could obsess about this all day, like the guy who keeps writing me. Which is the true Mark, sharp or fuzzy? Thankfully, he's silent. And then there's an enigmatic Michael. Michael, who never says anything. And if he's directly asked, he says he doesn't want to speak, but he usually doesn't say that even. He just doesn't say anything. Now, the obvious question is, what is Michael hiding? The secrets to cryptocurrency? Or is it feelings and thoughts he has about himself that he doesn't want to expose to the universe? It's amazing what the world looks like with a good eye after surgery. I don't remember ever seeing anything so sharply or so incredibly colored as I can see now. And I understand that in 50% of all cataract surgeries, the blurriness comes back because there's a secondary cataract forms on the lens as little driplets of stuff left behind reform on the implanted lens. And then you have to have a secondary procedure to laser off this film at the back of the lens, and then it never comes back. Also, the light I see now, light from outside, is blinding. And it has a bluish tint. I don't know why that is. I don't remember it when I had good vision 20 years ago when I had glasses. Who the fuck cares? You see, I don't obsess about it. It's just the way things are for me now. But I am obsessing about stuff now too. Ever since Kali died and Max, I've wondered, what is this all about? Why is it that life is limited in time? Why is it that so many of my cats died at around age 15? each time tearing my heart apart. And I look at my own life. I can feel my own sense of presence very strongly. I can feel the life force throughout my whole body. I can feel how it envelops me, washes through me like an ocean almost. And above that, I can feel the energies in my body, the chi energies, so to speak, as well as the quality of the feeling of my muscle tension or a lack of tension. The movement of my diaphragm and the muscles in my chest, the gurgling in my stomach, the tension in my neck, the pain on the left side of my neck from sleeping on my right side. Trying to adjust the correct head distance above the mattress through the use of pillow in my hand to get the proper height so my head doesn't droop or isn't elevated. And how I never seem to get it right. But I see how important it is in everyday life to celebrate that beingness in me and in you, to worship the beingness in Jay and in Vesselina and in Spencer and all of you, to celebrate that life, which to me is so precious and yet so small in time and duration. At my age, you see how quickly life goes. When I was 7, I thought I'd never reach 8. Every day seems so long. Now, at this age, because I've experienced so much, the days seem so short in comparison to what I've lived in memory. But I also continue to look within into my beingness. And just also rest in feeling in that beingness. And when I do that, I find rest and happiness. And isn't that what spirituality is about? Now, a lot of people will say, no, that's not enough. I want to know something for sure. I want to know if there's a God. I want to know whether I can be one with God. I want to know whether I can become God realized. I want to know what the self is. And is the self infinite and limitless? Or is the self experienceable? Or is it neither, that the self experiences, but itself is not experienced? All these questions you can go through. And you can have a different answer each day, one that you find absolutely true that day, that time, until the next day when you have a different understanding of yourself. That saying by Nisargadatta, between being everything and being nothing is the range of my experience. I am both and neither separately. To try to categorize the range of my experiences really doesn't make sense, nor should I opt to be one or the other, but accept myself as having an ambiguous existence, ranging between experiences of being and an understanding of being everything, and experiences of being asleep with no memory, no experience whatsoever. And to say, between these two poles, my life is lived. Don't obsess about it. Don't make a problem of it. Just recognize that your existence is not one solid thing, but it's like a flickering candlelight, sometimes bright, sometimes dim, sometimes near, sometimes far. And accept that's the way it is. And your duty, so to speak, is always to keep your eye on the prize, and the prize is your own self, your own existence. Be aware of it at all times so you don't get carried away by things on the outside. You don't have to have the concept that the world is unreal to always be primarily aware of your own self. The concept that the world is unreal or it's a mirage is needed only for beginners to get them stop obsessing about the world and their place in the world and what to do in the world. Instead, turn your vision around and turn your feeling around into your own self, primarily into your own body at first, learning how to relax and fall into your own body. Your own body's heaviness and solidity, as well as its fluidity of motion and the fluidity of the life force within, and the all-pervasive nature of the life force within, as well as all the secondary energies that one can feel coursing through your body that make you realize you're alive. Of course, this speak can be carried away, and you're like Ramana in the temple basement in constant meditation on the self. while he's being bitten to death by insects, causing blood and other stuff to glue you to the floor. One of my friends, Swami Chaitananda, who had a large ashram up north, I think it was Oregon, called his organization something about movement. For him, movement meant life, and life meant movement. And Chaitananda is always exercising, wearing a 20-pound weight vest, doing endless sit-ups and chin-ups. He's almost my age. He's probably 72, 73. And he's a very gruff guy, the owner of many businesses throughout his life. He's a disciple of Rudy, who was an art dealer in New York. And when Rudy died, he handed everything over to Chaitananda to continue in his stead. And Chaitananda became an art dealer, especially in terms of Oriental stuff like rugs. He also founded a bread line of health food breads. I forget what it's called. It's in all the grocery stores now, in their health food section. Many other businesses. But if you saw him and spoke to him in everyday life, you'd think, here's a businessman. The bottom line is the buck, the dollar. I mean, that kind of attitude. My cat has just found a paper bag to wrap an eternal combat with. I'm glad she's happy. Hi, James.
Hey, how you doing?
But I can say truthfully, the thing is, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck with one problem in your life that you think you have to solve. Whether it's about your husband or your wife, or your financial problems, or your job. And instead, accept the situation the way it is now. It'll probably change. And submerge yourself into your own beingness. And by that, I'll break that down to make it more clear. You're to find yourself an easy chair. Beds are too comfortable. It's easy to fall asleep. Lay yourself back. Shut your eyes. And feel within. Feel within the area near your heart for any kind of sensation that you can feel there. It's important to get out of your head. So you have to try to feel something outside of your head that's in your body, like your heart or even your feet. Because if you think about your feet, feeling your feet, you can usually feel them pretty easily. And when you do think about them after a few seconds, they seem to come alive and start tingling. And you can get your attention out of your head. But it's spiritually more important to bring your attention down into your gut and your chest area and the heart chakra. And I use the term chakra only because so many people use it and they think they know what it means. So I'll use that term, but it's better, I guess, to say chest area. Because it's so much easier to feel emotions when your concentration is focused on the area of your upper body, but out of your head. And emotions are the gateway to going deeper into yourself. Just going within to the chest eventually brings new feelings out in you that you have to deal with. And if you don't deal with them, you build new defenses to block feeling those feelings in yourself, which creates new problems. Now, a lot of time in so many of us, there are deep feelings that are so large, so frightening, so intimidating, that we've pushed down so long in us that they're no longer in our consciousness. But what we've done is by using this repression, not only blocks those feelings, but most feelings, including love, the feeling of bliss, the feeling of our own beingness, which makes us feel empty, maybe lonely, or sad or grieving. That may be one of the emotions that we're hiding from. But by hiding from it, we're less human, less relational. Less there as a presence. We're incomplete. So if we've been hiding rage all of our life at the shitty childhood we had, we miss so much. We miss the sheer happiness one can feel by constantly feeling one's own beingness, being alive, feeling the life force, feeling energies coursing through the body. If it's rage that we're blocking because we think it's bad, in a sense, we can almost feel like a ghost that has no existence in the world. So one of the first things we have to deal with in order to reach a deeper spirituality is learning how to live with emotions. The emotions of anger, of fear, of humiliation, of guilt, of love. Although love is more than just an emotion. And you live with it in a way of feeling these feelings and letting them lie within you in the area of your chest. Your chest becomes your laboratory, your workbench for all of your spiritual work. As one after another, over a period of years, you go through all the feelings that you've never felt. By gradually becoming aware of which ones you're repressing. You don't have to search too much. They usually surface relatively quickly after you've made the decision to open yourself to them. And for a long time, you can be obsessed with digging around inside, finding that which has been lost or repressed, bringing yourself alive into the mundane world so that you're experiencing the mundane world from a different perspective, a mundane world that's come alive, just like my vision has come alive in my left eye, so that things are sharp and clear. And you can do the same thing with emotions. After you've learned how to live with emotions and have them, they rarely bother you at all. Because there's no lack of emotions anymore. And you actually look for opportunities to feel emotions because you enjoy them, all of them. Feeling hurt, feeling sad, feeling grief, feeling anger, feeling jealousy. Everything kind of titillates you as long as you're not immersed and at their mercy. And you won't be if you learn how to feel them one step at a time. And it can take a lifetime to come to this place. It can take so long because so many feelings are locked up in tensions in our body. And that's why there's so many different psychotherapies that aim to reduce those muscle tension areas in your body in order to relax them enough to feel the feelings they were blocking. But there's such a feeling of freedom that comes with this being able to live with emotions and accept them. Emotions can make you feel alive. They sit so lightly inside, along with above and below your own feeling of beingness. And by beingness, I mean turning your attention inward, not by observation so much as by feeling. And feeling within for that which you call yourself. It's the feeling of being an embodied spirit. In me right now, and it varies. I can feel my legs and my feet, my hips, my gut, my chest, my neck, my shoulders and arms, face, as one whole thing that is alive. I can feel that life force. And if I choose to add observation, I can also observe it as light. Sometimes it makes me feel almost like I'm observing myself as being like a burning candle with all of these fiery processes going on inside of me, burning brightly, the life force. And at other times, when I get into my head, where for all intents and purposes, awareness of myself as existence and as subject disappears. And I'm wrapped in some problem of some sort until I let go of it. As I get older, I find I'm still bothered by lots of different tasks that I have to do. Taxes, finding repair people for the houses, watching certain markets, responding to correspondence from the state or from the county about taxes on the house, finding the proper company to warranty the interiors, finding the correct insurance company to watch over the houses and the automobile. All of this involves money. And that's how we're tied into so much into so many communications, especially in everyday life when all the different corporations are trying to sell us something that they sell, but bombarding us with commercials of some sort or another, different types. Trying to drag us back totally into the mundane world, where every day we struggle to meet the demands placed on us by our external environment. And we really have no peace. I'll return your correspondence, James, in a bit. It's just that that's another task I have to do. I have to look at my other email account and respond.
Thanks, Ed.
I've become so lazy, and I enjoy being lazy.
Thank you.
I wish Veselina could enjoy being as lazy as I am lazy, but she can't. She's driven by such enormous problems like, what dress should I wear to this kind of function at work? Should I buy one or should I use an old one? She can obsess about that for a week. Does anybody have any questions or sharing of anything?